This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
I'm Generalkidd.
I'm Slipspace Entertainment.
And before we get talking about the backwards Pong game by Bungie, why don't you guys tell everybody about your channels? Give us the elevator speech before Throwback Thursday.
All right, so I'm Generalkidd, also known as Generalkidd on YouTube, and my channel is mostly focused on finding glitches, secrets, and Easter eggs, other stuff like that in games, as well as some occasional wacky content and experiments. But most of it's focused on Halo, and sometimes I'll branch out to other games like Call of Duty or whatever is like the big game at the time. So I do check out quite a few games.
And he has the MCC version of the Halo 2 Warthog run without the restored version, but he also has the restored version from the original game. So if you're interested in what Halo 2's Warthog run could have looked like, go check out his channel and find that video. Real easy to find. Halo 2 Warthog run, and it's Generalkidd, even though he's Generalkidd. All right, Mr. Slipspace, tell everybody about your stuff.
So I'm Slipspace Entertainment. We just do a lot of Halo memes, very small, pretty much bite-sized. We try to keep them underneath a minute. So sometimes they can be a little bit longer. You do, that's a real treat. Then everybody's like, whoa, Slipspace made a video over a minute long? What is this? So if you're ever just sitting there, you need a laugh, and you don't want to take up too much of your time, then the great videos to watch if you like Halo and you want to laugh. Just real quick.
Unlike our podcast, you can go watch 6 of his videos in the time that we probably just spent explaining our stuff. So if you want to laugh multiple times in the next 5 minutes, go watch a bunch of his videos. That's my best elevator speech for you. Sorry. I could probably do better if I actually wrote stuff down, but this is a podcast. Sorry. And we will definitely have him on for an interview in the future. So if you're interested to hear more about Mr. Slipspace in the future, come back to this channel. Have some fun. Today we're going to be covering Gnop, Bungie's first game from 1990, prior to Bungie being a real thing. So I'm going to give you guys some word vomit, and then we'll discuss. So Gnop, which funnily enough is Pong spelled backwards, or Gnop. I don't know if it's Gnop or Gnop. The G could be silent, or it might not be silent. I really don't know. Was the first computer game created and published by Bungie Studios, Alex Seropian, and he authored that game in 1990, almost a year before Bungie's official incorporation. So it's a simple Pong clone with added sound and graphics, written and released nearly 20 years after the original. It is Pong spelled backwards, as said before, but it is proved popular enough with some fans purchasing the source code, which is the only reason you would actually spend money on this game, and it was $15. You can actually still play it on the Bungie website with the Flash player, which will go away in January, but as of right now, and when this video records, you'll still be able to play it for a brief period of time on the Bungie website. It was also included in a few of Bungie's games, including the Marathon Trilogy. So how funny is it that a company as big as Bungie is now started with this game? What do you guys think about that?
From humble beginnings, I guess.
Yep.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Like, humble beginnings for sure. Look how it's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have Destiny.
Yeah.
Which is its own beast.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that what they really should have done, though, because it's the first game, it would have been cool if they had actually kept this up as like a legacy title, where every limited edition of whatever game they released later had like a version of this. So like for Halo 3 or something, they could have had where instead of a ping pong, it's like a plasma grenade or like Chief's helmet or something. Just something stupid and simple, just to play homage to the very first game they ever made.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could probably forge this in Halo 5 if you really wanted to. I mean, there's some pretty crazy forge stuff. I'm just picturing like Master Chief with a ping pong paddle on an axis going back and forth. Hitting a pong ball back and forth with like Arby. Could be Arby and the Chief. Gnop. Anyways. So what do you guys think of I mean, given that this was included in the Marathon Trilogy, what do you guys think of all these Easter eggs that Bungie has included in their games over the years? Like, they're pretty famous for that.
Yeah, they've had some really great Easter eggs. Like some of them are just like really random funny ones, and some of them are really epic Easter eggs, like the Scarab gun in Halo 2. That was probably like my favorite Easter egg ever.
I spent hours and hours trying to get that thing with my friends.
Now it's just a stole. so that
Yeah,
makes it easy.
Mhm.
So the fact that this was shipped with the Marathon Trilogy edition, the trilogy version of the games, like where you got all 3 games in one bundle, that might actually be the only physical version of this game. I don't know if they actually released it because the source code was probably just distributed on some shareware type of thing. But or maybe it was even on floppy drives. I don't know.
Disks.
Floppy disks. Which guarantee you wouldn't be able to actually run one of those without like being like lazy game reviews where you have all of the old equipment, right? Like our Metal Jesus or one of those kind of people that still has all the equipment to run that stuff. Probably the only physical version that you could purchase today and run on a computer, specifically a Mac, would be the Marathon Trilogy Edition, right? And I think it's funny to think about it that way because a lot of these games that were from the 90s that were on floppy disks or anything that was never ported to Steam or Linux or Windows, they're probably lost to history at this point, right? Like there's so many old Mac games or Windows games from the 90s that you just can't get anymore. Or like the source code is lost.
Sad about it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
With a lot of games, you don't really like think about it in the moment, especially even like the decade or whatever, where it's just like some games will eventually just be gone forever, just out of usually just a hardware issue, right? It's like you can only run on this thing, but well, nobody makes any more. You can try and preserve it, but eventually that stuff will break or just be too hard to find. Like I know that even with just like Halo 1 on the original Xbox, right? And it being ported to PC, and that's what everything's built on now, that like the original Halo is just unaccessible with the lack of stuff for original Xboxes. Like nobody has the same cords or anything because now everything's HDMI. So it's like I know Marty was having a problem with like Marty O'Donnell. He was trying to do something, I think, for one of his classes or something, and then like they couldn't get an original Xbox with all the with all the equipment. So he's like, "Well, great, I can't show the original. It's lost to me."
Like, I mean, with the MCC modernizing the Halo games, like you have lost at its core the original versions of the games, despite all the enhancements that 343 has added, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I still have the originals.
Yeah, I'll never dump my originals either.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I got the original discs here and stuff, so yeah, I try to hang on those as long as I can until eventually the stuff just might die on me. But I'm gonna try and delay that as long as I can.
Yeah, there's a reason why the film industry spends millions of dollars preserving old films and all of the films nowadays for this exact reason. Like, you know, there's gonna be a lot of games that just simply poof out of existence because no one thought to archive them.
Yeah, and even if you do oh hey, we're re-releasing it on like something else, and it's like, I mean, sometimes it just doesn't get the same like charm, right? Like even how Halo got ported over wrong. I was trying to play some of my old games from the early 2000s, and it was just like they re-released it, and it's like, oh, the frame rate's terrible on this thing. It's like, and I don't have my old like, it was on like a PlayStation. It's like I don't have my old PlayStation. It broke, so that game is just gone.
And that's why I love the backwards compatibility program that Microsoft has, specifically for this kind of a thing, where you can plug in an old Xbox game, anything that's compatible with the program, and you just play it.
I really wish it would make like the old Halo games compatible too. That would be
Yeah, 360 ones are though, aren't they?
Yeah, but not the OG Xbox ones, not Halo 1 and 2.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
They're like, hey, you want those? MCC, there you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, another thing that has happened over the years is like ports will happen. So, for example, and not a lot of people know about this, but Shin Megami Tensei, and you guys aren't into the series, but I am. It's a JRPG from Atlas, which makes the Persona series. They actually ported it to iOS in English. It's the only official English release, but it was a 32-bit application before iOS went 64-bit, and Atlas never converted it to 64-bit. So, like, that game was actually ported officially to English in the US, and now it's gone. It was there and it was gone. Like, these are the types of things that I'm like, wow, this needs to be preserved. You know, like, there are not that many things that I feel strongly about, but preservation of old games is one of those things that I feel very strongly about. So, with the acquisition of Bungie to Microsoft, and then from originally they started on the Mac, clearly. What do you guys like? How big of a shift was that in the game industry that Microsoft got Bungie? And I know this is
Well-
kind of way off the Gnop thing here, but or Gnop or whatever.
Well,
but
Bungie made Microsoft, so I
Yeah, it's
mean,
probably
they had no idea what they were buying, but it worked out for them.
Yeah,
it's
they
probably
made
the
the
best decision
Xbox.
ever.
can you imagine if Halo had launched on Mac? Like how different of an ecosystem we would be in right now.
Oh, they probably would have died, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think Halo would have been as popular as it was. And as for like Xbox, I don't know if it would necessarily would have died, but I don't think it would have like picked up as much steam as it did.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think the Bungie acquisition is one of those things. It's almost like when Nintendo and Rare hooked up. It was like one of those special collaborations or acquisitions that actually made both brands what they are today.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody who owned an original Xbox who didn't have Halo. That's why I owned it, right? It's like there was really no other reason to own an original Xbox other than just having Halo. You buy some other games as like a side thing. I think I owned like 2 games. It was just Halo and then like some racing game. I don't know. That's all I had.
Yep. So,
Halo and
anyways,
Fable.
this is the origin of Bungie, Gnop or Gnop, whatever you want to call it, on the Mac, which eventually led to the development of Halo by this company existing. So,
Very cool.
anything else you guys want to say?
This game looks frustrating.
I mean, it's
I'm surprised
Pong.
you don't just like I'm surprised it's not just like on some like as an Easter egg and just like Halo 3 or some terminal you can go to and just play this game.
Yeah,
I'm
that would
surprised
be
it's
cool.
like it's not like that'd be a cool like running gag that they have. Just put it in all their like games or whatever. You just run up to like some computer that's hidden somewhere or something. You just play the game. I know like Activision's done that with in their Call of Duty games. Like you can unlock some panel or something, and then you can play like Pitfall or something like that. Some of their old like
Mhm.
really old games. So I think it'd be great if they did something like that. Or like I'm
It's
surprised
cool,
they
like in
didn't do it.
Doom, you can play like the entire old Doom games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like
true.
Wolfenstein lets you play like the first Wolfenstein level of the first Wolfenstein game.
Mhm.
Like imagine you're in the middle of a Halo campaign and you access a terminal and all of a sudden you and your buddy are playing Pong.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Anyways, that's the origin of Bungie, Gnop. That's the first game that I know of, and I don't believe there's anything prior to it because that was the humble origin that Alex Seropian worked on back in 1990. So, as always, I'm Chris,
And I'm Will.
I'm General Heed.
I'm Slipspace Entertainment.
and we will see you
Next, CHRILLCAST. Bye, guys.